everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. I'm delighted to be joined by Claudia Chan this morning, the founder of S.H.E Global Media. Thanks so much for joining us, Claudia.
Thank you for having me.
Can you start out with telling us a little bit about S.H.E Global Media and what it stands for?
Yeah, so S.H.E Global Media is the parent company entity, and the name stands for She Helps Empower the Globe. And I built it with the vision of creating a purposeful media and education company that would create media, content, events, and curriculum, content, conferences, and curriculum that would inspire women and give them tools in every aspect of their personal and professional life so that they can empower the globe and change the world. So feeding women with content and events and all this good stuff so that they can go out there and empower the world.
Perfect. So that leads me into what I want to ask you next, and I've been really excited about something you stated in a Huffington Post article. You said that your advice to young women is to get ready. Claudia, what are they getting ready for, and how can they do it?
Yeah, I think that when you choose, I encourage all women to choose a courageous life and choose young people. Sorry, it's not just women. It's, I encourage all young people to choose a courageous life. And by that, I mean taking risk and doing something that is a big dream, like dreaming big and aligning that dream with passion and purpose. And even if you don't know what that is yet at a young age, it's just keep following the things that interest you and that obviously make you feel good, but also is good for the community and good for the world in some capacity, right? And in doing that, so when you choose to pursue a big dream that is purposeful and something that you're passionate about, it's going to take courage because often it's not the traditional norm of a traditional ladder, right? And so when I say get ready to live a courageous life, but with that will come a lot of challenges, a lot of insecurity, a lot of obstacles, because that's, Brene Brown, one of my favorite authors who wrote Daring Greatly, calls it the arena. If you choose to be in the arena and get, you're choosing to get the crap, kicked out of you, right? So all of our greatest leaders in the world, whether or not it is, our president of the United States or, Steve Jobs or Richard Branson or Oprah. I mean, these are just some of my role models out there, but, you are choosing to put yourself out there. So just get ready for the ride. But there's other advice that comes with that in terms of how to get through the obstacles, of course.
What's the best piece of advice about getting through those obstacles that you can give young entrepreneurs?
So the best piece is that actually obstacles are something to be embraced and to really appreciate, because they are what creates wisdom in our lives. It's really through the hard stuff that we go through to getting all the no's instead of the yeses that actually make us stronger, wiser, more creative, more patient. Really all the leadership skills that are required to lead courageously. Again, resilience, perseverance, patience, courage, all of these things come with obstacles. Those are muscles that we exercise when obstacles happen, not when everything's going so well and smoothly. Like life is not supposed to just go smoothly. Like that way we never really learn anything and we don't develop depth. And, that's truly, so when something hard is happening, my recommendation is try to catch yourself when it is. And as opposed to feeling so upset and defeated and overwhelmed, is to say, hey, maybe this is happening to me for a reason. And maybe this is I'm supposed to take a right turn instead of going straight. And it's showing up for a reason. Also, too, it's in those challenges where we really get to know, like we get to learn more about who we are. As human beings, and because it's we're alone with ourselves. We're alone with all of those feelings, and it truly tests our integrity and our strength as individuals. So there truly are blessings, obstacles in life.
You know, Claudia, for the women's movement that's taken everything, especially social media, by storm, there have been obstacles. And I think one of the obstacles for me personally was that I felt men were being excluded from the conversation. And something I really admire about S.H.E Global Media and what you did at S.H.E Summit is the way you included them. What are some tangible ways that men can contribute to equality?
Yeah, I think, the first, this truly is the next conversation and the next frontier. It's actually, we called it He for She, the next frontier, in terms of the panel topic. But I think it's a really new arena that we're moving into. And the first thing is just for men to, I think, just join and just attend something like S.H.E Summit. I think we were definitely in our marketing copy, we're calling on all women and men to participate and to be a part of this conversation that's about empowering women and girls. And I think that understanding there's a separation between, okay, just like we need to, just how we need to, like, whether it's environmental issues or global warming, or whether or not it's politics or any social issue that's out there, the empowerment of women and girls is just another social issue, right? So just as you're choosing to be a part of a social topic, a social impact area, women and girls is probably one of the most important, if it's not the most important one out there right now, because they make up half the population, and investing in women and girls has proven to be key for global prosperity. And so for men, I think it's just choosing to say, this is not an environment that's anti-men, but this is choosing to be a part of a conversation that's about empowering an issue and resolving a major issue that affects our world right now and affects everything. And so I think it's just being okay with being a part of that conversation and learning. I think that's just the first step, is to like, even listening to the topics at S.H.E Summit, it's no different than, again, going to hear about other social good topics, right? So I think that's the first step, is just to be open and to be a part of the conversation and absorb and just be a student of it. And, and then eventually, I think with that openness and that flexibility, as opposed to a defensive-ness or, like those empowerment chicks or whatever. Amanda Steinberg said, who founded Daily Worth, she was on one of the panels. She said she met somebody on the train to New York City and told him what she did. And he said something to her along the lines of, don't you women just want to, like, stay at home? Don't you women just want to be taken care of? Or aren't you women empowered enough? Like, you hear, there's a lot of men that don't understand it yet. They're like, oh, well, my husband and daughter, my wife and daughter is like they already control my household. I mean, it's almost like, I don't think they understand how to relate to it until they really understand women and girls in the context of where women are in government and corporations and
business.
Yeah, in business, and in terms of what's happening to women and girls in developing parts of the world.
So the biggest part of that then, Claudia, is both men and women being great examples. What's some tangible advice you can give to people to be a great example for the next generation?
So I always say that we need more role models. And, what my website, the first product, when I say S.H.E Global Media creates content, conferences, and curriculum, so ClaudiaChan.com is the content platform. And I actually interviewed over 200 women on ClaudiaChan.com. So I've been a huge proponent of calling on female role models, that if you are in a leadership position, or if you're already living a life that, where you're already falling into that top small percentage of women that are that have broken through the glass ceiling, and that are also doing great work for women, that, we need more of you to come out and champion women. And now obviously my call to men is the same thing. If you're in a leadership position, if you're running a startup, if you are, a senior executive at a big company, it's to start really talking about, making this topic a priority. So, and what was your specific question as it relates to role models?
What are some tangible ways that people can be role models?
Yes. Okay. So I think it's really, recognizing and realizing that what you do and what you say, and how you give back is so important, right? Because that is contagious. And I think it's understanding, what community of people do I have exposure to, and really living and being a good example, whether or not it's to your children or whether or not it's to your colleagues or your community, whether or not it's a group of like friends from school or an organization that you're a part of. I think that it's recognizing the community of people that we're surrounded by, and thinking about every interaction with them and the way that you live your life is an example, for how you might want to influence, others, and we become the company we keep. I always say that. And we literally take on the traits and the habits of people that we surround ourselves with. So just recognize and realizing that, the energy that we put out, what we preach, what we communicate, teaches other people. I also have a mantra that is, every meeting is an opportunity to teach and to learn. So, I find I'm a walking spokesperson for my mission, right? Every person that I encounter, I explain to them what I do. I tell them to check out my website, and if I have the opportunity to talk about women and girls and to ask questions, I do it. And my husband often says, "Oh my God, Claudia, literally somebody emails you and asks how you are and you're like, pitching your business." And I'm like, really, it's not pitching my business. It's just I'm an activist. I have to overly communicate what I do. I have to advertise my mission because that's how I'm going to spread word. That's how I'm going to spread my the good that I'm doing. So it's through communication that creates that community.
Claudia, I want to close with two big foundational questions that are touching on what you just said with activism. The first one is, how do you help people realize that this movement is so much bigger than just them individually? So it's more than just sending a tweet with the hashtag She Summit or Empower Women.
Mm-hmm. How do I make people realize that it's so much bigger? I think we just need to start thinking about, for many years of my life, my story is I ran a company for 9 years after college, and it was called S.H.E. It was pretty successful, and I always say that I had achieved this material success, like check the box, like I was making a certain amount of money, I got to go to nice places and wear nice clothes, and I got to go on television, and I was part of this elite, like, entrepreneurial group, and yet I felt I lacked purpose, and I think that there's something, and that's just the family and the culture that I came from. My parents came to America with very little, and they survived war, and in China and Taiwan, and they really struggled a lot just to get here and to give my brother and I an education, and so I was raised with great principles that you need to do good, but it was a lot about survival. And I think that the earlier part of my life, I was so focused on myself and making sure that I was secure. And I think serving yourself is very limiting. And I think, when we need to recognize as individuals that every single one of us make up humanity, and that we all share the universe together. And it is through that collaborative consciousness of doing good and supporting each other and doing good for the world that is truly why we even are where we are today. Why we even get to live in the developed world is because leaders that came before us fought for our freedom, fought for our independence. Like, women haven't even had the right to vote yet for 100 years. So it's and even the first feminist revolution, the fact that women like more women graduate and get master's degrees or MBAs. I mean, it's so much of this is because of other courageous people that came before us, and I think that we all have the responsibility to serve. Yes, we want to serve ourselves, but so that we can serve our community and serve the world. It's like even like making money. Like, you want to make money not to be rich, but to live a rich life, and part of living that rich life is to give back. Like, everything is a tool so that we can continue to contribute more to the world that we all share. And so I think the women's revolution, and any revolution for that matter, whether it's environmental, whether or not it's, whether or not it's fighting poverty, whether it's any social impact area that you want to choose. I just think it's important that we choose one, right? We choose, we at least choose one major area that makes up one of our key values as human beings. We should all have a list of values that we live our life by, and continuing to build on those. Like right now, if you're 22 years old, you might just be new, and figuring out, okay, these are my core values. But one of those values has to be giving back and has to be doing good, because we need to think of ourselves as living in the context of not just ourselves and our immediate family, but the world. So
I think that you just wrote the first couple pages of the book you'll write in the future.
Thank you.
That was great. And I'm going to ask you to simplify it a little bit for my next question. If we were sitting down in a kindergarten classroom, what would you tell the students about gender equality?
I think it's just that boys and girls, that you're equal, and that you can both do the same things and do whatever you want. I think it's really just that simple, that it starts at such a young age, that you can both be whatever you want to be, and to really, and to be yourself. I think that's, Misrepresentation, Jennifer Siebel Newsom did a documentary, and it was inspired because she had a young girl and a young boy, and she was married to the governor of San Francisco at the time. It's just maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And, the boy got the gift. They got all these gifts, right, from friends, because they had these newborn children, and the son got, to the next president of the United States, right? And then I think her daughter got a Cinderella, or a tutu, or some sort of gift like that, and so it just sort of hit her that at such a young age, literally, it's it starts when you're just born, right? In terms of what little boys and little girls are told what they can be and not be, and literally the message is okay, daughter, you can't be the president of the United States. So I think it's just important that we start at a very young age telling children that they can, to follow their dreams.
Channeling Marlo Thomas there with Free to Be You and Me.
Exactly.
So Claudia, can we end with you telling our users how they can find you and how they can stay up to date with everything S.H.E Global Media is doing?
Yes. So basically, ClaudiaChan.com is where you will get to know me and discover everything that I do year round. I send out weekly mantras, Claudia's mantras. They're, tips and habits that for women to cultivate. So I send those out weekly. And then on my website too, you can search interviews with over 200 women, from humanitarians, celebrities, fashion designers, entrepreneurs, authors, experts. I've interviewed women like Christy Turlington, Tory Burch, Zainab Salbi, Jennifer Buffett, to Ariana Huffington, to tons of women you've never even heard of that are just doing incredible things. You could search by industry, you could search by topic, entrepreneurship, leadership, to motherhood. You can really search by topics, industry, and it's really, really like mentorship on demand for women. And the second thing that I do every year is S.H.E Summit. So we just had, as you know, Jenna, our third annual event. So our next one's going to be probably either, I think it's May or June of 2015. We're going to solidify dates this summer. So to check back to ClaudiaChan.com for those dates, and you can tune in from wherever you are. If you're not in New York City to attend the event at 92nd Street Y, you can tune in from anywhere around the country or the world and watch the live stream, which I know is how you discovered us. And we're also going to be rolling out with other initiatives. So just, sign up for ClaudiaChan.com to sort of, to stay inspired and to get information about what we're doing year round.
Great. And you guys are very active on Twitter.
Absolutely. Yes. Please follow us on, thank you for reminding me, Twitter. My handle is @ClaudiaChan, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/ClaudiaChanMedia.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Claudia.
Thank you. This was so much fun.